They say you never get a second chance to make a first impression. That's all why most of us like to check how presentable we are before we head out to a meeting, head out to the streets, or even switch on our camera for a video conferencing discussion. Now, getting that first impression right is a globally $145 billion plus industry, set to grow in leaps and bounds to be over $200 billion over the next half a decade. How well is the global salon and beauty care industry in the world spreading, and at the same time the impact on it from the pandemic? And also, not forgetting Sri Lanka. We see salons, beauticians everywhere. What has the impact been due to the pandemic? And what steps need to be taken to grow this industry in the right direction? This will be our focus today on Bisnomics. Welcome to your weekend's most profitable 60 minutes. I'm Tharindra Amarasekara, and we are in conversation with who one would say a legend in this industry, who is none other than Nayana Karunarathne. Nayana, welcome to Bisnomics. It's an absolute pleasure to have you, and you look stunning. Let me start with a compliment.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Nayana, let's talk about this industry, especially from a Sri Lankan perspective, because when we talk about industries, I mean, we talk about the real estate, we talk about IT. In the big economic forums and circles, beauty care and salon is not a very often spoken of industry. But in my personal opinion, I think it's a very important and a very value-adding industry which has a lot of potential to contribute more to Sri Lanka. Am I right to think so? Let's start with that.
100%. Yes, it is not recognized as it should be, but it is a very important industry. Now, as you just rightly said, whoever goes, may it be a president or may it be anyone else of a country, you have to get your hair cut, you have to do your makeup, you have to be well groomed. So it's very much need of the people, and I would say after food and general livelihood, it is very important. But the thing is, even in Sri Lanka it is growing, it is important, but we don't have much discipline, direction and education to bring it up to the level we should. Because in some countries we are very, the hairdressing industry is very organized and very highly recognized.
Respected as well.
Very much respected as well. Everything here is there underneath, but it is not brought up to the level that it should be, because it's a very lucrative business, it's a growing business. I can say that because my business is as old as the LTT problem we had. I was a young girl at that time when the trouble started. So we grew. Maybe we could have grown bigger, but we always grew. The industry grew, we grew, my colleagues grew. So even in situations of civil war, this industry grows. So I think it's very important for the people responsible to be more aware of it and develop it, because this is a good feeling for the people. It's giving something good for the people, for their personalities and for their well-being, and employment for male and female both sectors. So
and I believe there is, thousands of individuals employed. Has there been any industry survey done to identify how many people
officially no, but we believe we have about 4.5 to 5 lakhs of people working directly in the industry, and we have approximately 80 to 85,000 salons in this country.
It's what you're saying is we are looking at easily more than 2% of our actual population working on
easily. And we are talking about all levels. I'm talking about the barber level, everyone.
Sure.
So
they're all a part of this industry.
Generally the industries, like the hotel industry, we are divided into A, B and C levels. So A, B and C levels I'm talking about, it's about, there is no official count, but most of the color companies and all the product companies have come to the conclusion that we are between 85 to 90,000 salons.
All right, okay, that's quite a lot. That's a big economic contribution as well.
It's a big economic contribution, and I think the government itself is losing, in my opinion, because the industry is not organized. Lots of people don't. They are not registered, they are not paying their taxes, they are not paying their EPF, ETS, not for anything else, they don't know, and they are very scared as well. So that organization has not come in. So both parties lose. We lose as people working in the industry, and the government also loses. So that organization and the stability must be there.
That's very correctly said. The people who are doing things right by registering and paying taxes, they lose out. Government loses out, and also I believe end of the day the industry also loses out.
Of course, industry loses out as well. And see, the thing is, industry has grown on its own, starting from ourselves. I think my generation, we were Ramsi, myself, Ramani, we were one lot. Before that, there was Janet, 2 or 3 other people, Moira. So every one of us grew on our own. We all grew on our own, and under us, after us, another 100 lot of maybe 100, 200, 300 new salons have come, our staff, and so industry has grown without any help, and we also talented people can come up in life. Talented people are coming up in life, but my policy is that talent alone is not here. You need to have the education, the discipline and the education and the set of ethics to bring up an industry. So when that is not there, we get stuck halfway.
Understood. Nayana, let's talk about now this. If you look at the concept of beauty care, and especially, for example, makeup. I'm no expert in it. That's your area of expertise. But one thing which we can see is that every country has its own unique way of applying the makeup, the presentability. If you take, for example, India and Sri Lanka, though we are very close to each other in physical proximity, we see that when it comes to the makeup styles, etc., we are quite different. So does Sri Lanka by itself have a good, unique recognition for our styles of beauty care? And is it something that we could export or provide to the rest of the world as a way of earning foreign currency to the country?
Definitely. Okay, you compare us with India. Let me tell you, we are far superior to India. We are, as an industry, we are far superior to India. I know this for a fact because I am in the World Federation and I know our standard.
And you have experience in the Indian market as
Indian
well. You do operate
well.
there.
Yes. So when you take Asia, Japan, Korea is very highly advanced. Japan, Korea, Hong Kong to some extent, and Singapore. I would say we are as good as Singapore, I would say. But the thing is, in India is 1.1 billion people, and you have about 100 super hairdressers. That's it.
So 1.1 out of 1.1 billion people.
Very good hairdressers, nothing more than about 100,
super.
150 hairdressers, or of course maybe their staff. So, and also Bollywood and everything else has given them more exposure.
Correct.
And very pretty girls, handsome men. So they
Are you saying the Sri Lankan men are not handsome
No,
enough?
no, I'm not
I
saying
am contesting that right now.
No, we are handsome. No, some of them are better looking. Sad to say, but Pakistanis and Indians are some of them are better looking. Anyway, never mind. So they are more exposed, maybe mostly because of Bollywood. But when it comes to the technology and the standards, we are superior to them. When you take the size of the country and the size of the industry, we are definitely much better. And also very disciplined, because we have lots of Sri Lankans working in India. In India, we have lots of Sri Lankans working, and they are in definitely a better demand than most of the Indian staff. The reason I believe is that I think it happens in every industry. If you take the Middle East, even our housemaids or our hotel staff, they are so good in other countries. I believe we learn well, and there's a discipline within us which is really very good for the employer. So that's very good. Now coming to your next question, whether we can export it, yes we can. But the thing is, however good you may be, you need a qualification. Correct. You need a recognized qualification. So especially our barbers, they are in big demand in the Middle East. Our hairdressing is very good our hairdressers are doing well in Australia and New Zealand. And so we need to have a proper recognized qualification for them to make their path easier. The ones who are determined, they have somehow struggle, wrangle, and they go. And they do well. But for the others,
we need a proper education system.
Yeah, and recognized qualification, and that addition, especially for the barbers, the additional discipline. We have a big problem with our barbers because our barbers are used to daily wage. They are more
daily
like
collection.
they are more like the mason bars. So they are living for the day people, living for the day. So then there is no growth, no.
Correct.
So if you take the daily pay, it's coming into a good amount, much better than some other executives in a company. But still, there is no saving, there is no discipline, there is no money management.
Because there is no promise of tomorrow.
There is no promise.
So there is a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah. So then they can't take that next step forward.
Understood.
Yeah.
And as you very correctly said, I mean, if you look at the amount of people whom we have going abroad as housemaids, and if they are sending this much money, when you are a hairdresser, that's a more value-added job.
Definitely.
So if they are qualified and if they get employed in foreign countries, the amount of money they remit back to Sri Lanka will be much higher.
Of course, definitely. And most of the people who are already, we have a large number of hairdressers in the Middle East, and people who have migrated to Australia, Canada and New Zealand are having very good name, doing very well. Yes, they can send in a lot of money, but a few years ago, maybe about 3-4 years ago, we went to the Labour Ministry to find out about this. I was told that we get over 500 to 1,000 applications for hairdressers per year,
Oh, wow.
and about 25-30 go.
All right.
Officially, because they don't know, there is no way to get, they are not qualified and they don't know to apply. So that's a bottleneck.
Some fundamental issues there.
Fundamental issue.
Now let's talk about the customer side. Now, you deal with customers on a daily basis. Tell me, do you think the Sri Lankan customers, in terms of their demands, in terms of their level of sophistication, are they in line with the global trends?
For the styling,
yes.
More Asian, I think. I would say more Asian. We are not as bold as, except for a very few, as bold as many other nations, Western world, when it comes to color and styles and all that. I don't know what it is. Definitely financial or the economic situation of a country matters. When people are doing well, they spend more and all that. Second thing I think would be, I don't know whether it's a Buddhist culture that is also making us more simple and more
Conservative?
Conservative. I'm not really conservative, but we could do better. I also think the bigger problem is not that. The bigger problem is that the customer is not aware. This is an argument I always have. People say we don't have enough business. When you go down a road, there are so many boards, there are so many salons. I totally disagree. I think this country can have many more salons. Many more salons. But the thing is, A, salons have to function properly. B, we the people in the salon should train the customers. See, my argument is, if you take a town like, say, forget Colombo, like Galle or Matara, right? If you take, men also will forget, because men anyway go once in 3 weeks and cut their hair. And they have to go within 1 month. So that's very good business. And most of the men who color their hair sit and get their hair color, head massage, all that and out. So that's good business. But if you take the ladies, most of them go only once in their lifetime on the wedding. Maybe the second time is your daughter's wedding that they go to a salon. But if you take a town and if you take all
you think even, I'm sorry to interrupt here, but outside Colombo you are saying that ladies are not patronizing the beauty care shops that much?
No, they are not. I mean, look, somebody with long hair, she will never go to get her hair cut. She will put some color at home. She will do whatever she can. Most of them, not all, most of them. Even if they go, it will be once a year. So if everyone goes once in 2 months, not once in 2 months, either for the eyebrow trim, your waxing, a facial, just to trim your hair, a good head massage, what business are we talking? Massive. So that awareness also has to be given, because ours is a feel-good industry. It is a feel-good industry where we sell 100% satisfaction. We don't sell anything else.
Correct.
When you put makeup, it gets washed off. When you cut the hair, in 3 weeks, it's grown.
But you feel good for that moment you had it.
It's a feel-good factor. So, and that is a very cheap feel-good, feeling of good you can buy.
Relatively
inexpensive. It's cheaper than sometimes a sari, it's cheaper than a foreign trip, it's cheaper than sometimes definitely cheaper than a luxurious restaurant meal. So it's cheaper, and easily affordable and available feel good factor. So it's very, very necessary. It really makes someone feel really good, you know.
Understood.
Yeah, so I think both parties, the customer and we need to build up on that.
Some very good insights there, Nayana.
Thank you.
What was the impact of COVID-19 on this industry? Let's talk about that on the other side of this short break. This is Bisnomics. Welcome back to Bisnomics, your weekend's most profitable 60 minutes. We are talking about the feel-good industry. That's right, the salon and beauty care industry, a very vital contributor to our economy, but not recognized enough to its due merit. And we are in conversation regarding this and many other associated topics with Nayana Karunarathne. Nayana, now COVID-19. I believe this was a case of a sledgehammer being brought down upon this industry. Malls are closed, events are not taking place, imports blocked. Surely this is the perfect storm this industry could face. Your thoughts?
Yes, it's very, what can I say, very disappointing to think about it, but at the same time, the only way to feel okay about it is to realize that it is not only for us, it is for everyone else. See, the thing is, lots of people don't realize about COVID-19, they worry about themselves, but we worry about our staff, because our industry works on a, every service we do is on an intimate space. One-to-one. I am talking about the distance, because there is no personal space. But this is personal space, 1.5 meters away. But there is nothing we can do with personal space. It is on intimate space, which is 6-7 inches away.
And I believe you need the contact.
You have to. You almost touch the other client's body, and it's so close. So our staff and we are more in danger than the customers. That's number one. So we have to realize that. The good thing is that when the very first time the COVID hit us, the government openly banned the salons. We were very upset, so we all got together and we went to the Ministry of Health. First of all, we were sent to the WHO office, and then sent to the Ministry of Health, and there we exchanged the health and safety standards of our industry. I am very proud to say that our health and safety standards that the industry demands, if they are met by everyone, lots of salons don't do that, if they are met by everyone, we had nothing more to do for COVID, except for the 3 things which were to cover the face, wear a mask, wash the hands, and the social distance. Apart from that, we were maintaining perfect standards of health and safety.
Because I believe all this sanitizing of equipment, it had always been done before
always
COVID.
Been there to wipe and to wash the towels and to wash the hands, and everything was there. So it was, so this was, and we were well received, well accepted, respected by the minister and the doctors, and I must say we got a super support, and we opened the salons. And this was also a good eye opener for the industry. We kept on training them via the Facebook. Now do this. We did 8-10 videos, the association did, released it on languages, taught them. I think COVID-19 helped us in one way, the salons, that they brought in those standards that they were not practicing.
To up the game.
And I must also say that 1.5 years almost have passed, and I haven't heard of a single case going from a salon, from a COVID case, which I think is a very happy thing. I mean, individually people would have got infected, but there was no story that your salon salon cluster. That's right. So that's good. So it is a learning for us. In fact, I personally did a lot of webinars with India also, shared with them most of the companies, associations, and we did a lot of webinars, and I kept on talking about these health and safety standards, which I think even India should follow. The standards are there, but the people have to follow the cleanliness of the place and the self. That's all. So it's easy. So that's a small blessing thanks to COVID-19. But of course, you have to think of it positively. Our salons are also closed. We can't take a chance. We have to abide by the rules of the country. But again, I told you, even with COVID-19, this is people will definitely come running to us for that small feel-good factor, because they have to.
Correct.
That's again cheaper and more
And I believe
affordable.
a lot of people who are stuck at home, one of the main complaints is, I can't go to my salon.
Yeah, I mean, a little pedicure or a manicure or a head massage will take away some of their life burden. So it will be good. We'll be okay, provided the country is okay with COVID-19.
And I believe some of these associations which are there, which represent the workforce of this industry, there must have been certain collective decisions taken in order to support these employees as well.
I think there is no government support or something, but individually we have all done. But you also most of our people are self-employed. Majority of the salons, so they are some of them are, I think, struggling. But at the same time, if they are struggling now in these times, to me, 50% of the reason would be bad management.
In the good times.
In the good time, because as I told you, I have realized this myself, but no government or no one else has realized that. But a hairdresser or a beautician, there are so many girls who are staying at home with a little board and work only 2 days a month. They have the board, they have only maybe one bride or two brides or something like that. And they do earn twice the amount of money that a girl of her age would go by bus or train and go to a job and work for 8 hours, 5 days a week, and earn much more than that. So that money, it's a very good industry to earn money, it's very lucrative. But the management.
Understood. Nayana, let's talk about the response that you had when you went to the policymakers, especially with the COVID-19 situation. We saw a lot of industry discussions taking place. The industry was appealing to the authorities, the decision makers at the highest level for more support for this industry. Do you feel that the industry is treated with the due respect?
No, definitely not. I don't think the the people at the top understand this industry. I was very heartbroken because something that has never happened to me in my life happened, because we were told by the authorities responsible, this is not an industry to be recognized. We actually asked for the industry to be registered and recognized and licensed to be issued so that we can maintain the standards. 500 rupees or something like that. So we were told me gassata konda kapana barberlane megolanta recognition on, and so I think that is very wrong.
That's very poor attitude by the authorities.
No, poor attitude, very, very poor attitude by the authorities, and that is even the people who were talking were everybody is with a super. I am a hairdresser, so I know what your haircut is and when did you last color your hair. I can see all those. So everybody is with a perfect haircut by a good barber, and the beard is shaped properly, and the hair is black as charcoal, nicely colored. So all that is done by us.
Correct.
But so there we are not gassata konda kapana people. So we need to be recognized as an industry, because that will be a huge benefit for the government as well, any country.
And Nayana, correct me if I'm wrong, but even if they are talking about a barber who is cutting the hair under the tree, or in their own words, a gassata konda kapana barber, even that gassata konda kapana barber can still have a proper registration.
Definitely.
They can have a proper standard.
See, my argument is this, Saridu. What we say is this: if a woman or a man is making some butt packet at home and selling on the road, making 10 butt packets and selling on the road and making his livelihood, we are not bothered about it. That's okay, that's perfectly all right. But that little butt khade has to have a standard, no?
Absolutely.
The butt khade that is selling, cooking and selling cyber khade or butt khade, they have to have a standard, no? But if somebody is selling a few packets on roadside, making a few hoppers, we are not interested in those people. Let them live. But that other person, so even he has to have a standard, no? Because we have done the SLSI standards for the hair and beauty industry. We have already done it. It's done, it's approved, but it is not implemented because there's no one to implement it. That is what we wanted by the government to help us to do it, because they say you implement. Who are we? We are an association. Our seal is not recognized by anybody. It has to be a government seal. So now in that document, even the smallest person, I'll give you an example of a small barber salon. What he has to have is drinking water for the client. Okay? Wash your comb after each haircut and wash your towel after each haircut. That's all that's necessary. When the COVID-19 issue came, the doctors and Madam Minister, we were discussing about, somebody had said towels have to be, only each customer should have one towel, one cape. And they were going to insist from us, barber salons, 20 towels and 20 capes, and wash them and get the other thing. So minister asked us, is it lucrative? I said, yes, definitely. Towels are a little expensive, I won't say no, but it will last you 1 year.
Correct.
A cape is umbrella cloth, no?
Yes.
20-30 rupees. So, and this is not a new rule, this is what we have to do. If you put a towel on a shoulder of a client, it has to be washed.
Correct.
So they were saying, you take 10 towels and 10 capes, do 10 haircuts, send him for washing, do the other 10. Correct. So it's not a big expense.
Not rocket science.
No, and it is also basic hygiene. So each one, even that little barber fellow, has to have that rule, and that is very reasonable. No? We are not asking for air conditioners, nothing. Just the wash your comb, wash your towel, and give that customer drinking water if he wants. So everyone has to have that standard. So that's all we are asking, because if that standard is brought in, if that is checked annually to be renewed, that's it. And also, Tarindu, a lot of people don't understand. Yes, you can cut the hair. Yes, you can put even your sister can dress a bride. That is not a big thing. Put a hairstyle and makeup. But we use chemicals. We use hair color. We use straightening. We use lots of chemicals. So that is dangerous. So we have contraindications. We have contractions. It's dangerous. And I always say, I never compare ourselves to doctors. But we are the only other industry that is allowed to handle the human body, even though it is external. So it's a very serious
and delicate
industry, and we need support, we need recognition, we need guidance, and we need proper implementation.
And the government is turning a deaf ear and a blind eye. Half-hearted. I think it is not only us. I don't know whether what will happen after this program, but I think the skills industry. If you take the skills of so many other skills, from dancing to carpentry to mason, all those industries, we need to be. In our skill, we should be on par with the doctors and the lawyers, and in our skill selected. And in the standard set as well, and the enforcement of it.
Look at a mason boss, look at a carpenter, plumber.
Sure. Nayana, if the government was to set a policy, hopefully what the information you are sharing gets to the right authorities through programs like this, and if the government was to develop a policy to support this sector, what should be included and what should be the objectives of that policy?
It's already developed. We are only asking for to me, I see only two requirements from the government. One is the policy is developed. It was done by the government, the SLSI standards. Please support us to implement it properly. That's all. And there is no demeaning of anybody. It's like the hotels. 1-star, 2-star, 3-star hotels, like that. So please help us to implement that, and automatically the COVID-19's health and safety standards, all that. Second thing is streamline education. Education is also here, because I know we are the ones who first helped the government to implement the NVQ level 4. That was an ADB funded program. But we are a skill. We are a skill. So, you can have the most wonderful textbooks, but you have to have the practical as training. Without that, nobody is able to do anything.
You
We
can't
are
just
a
read a
skill.
book and pass an exam
you
and start
can't.
doing this.
We have to be 80% on the practical skill. So, that has to be properly implemented. I mean, this is also a very big support for the government for self-employment. No, you don't have to pay pension. You don't have to have government employees. People will work for themselves, and they will earn their money, and they will live well.
Sure.
Self-employment. So, it's a huge burden of the government and a big amount of money by way of taxes and other payments.
Understood.
Definitely. There are people, Tarindu, who are scared to register a business. It is not the 1,000, 2,000 rupees that you need to pay your province. It is the, madam, don't know what will happen. The government will be behind us. They will tax us for everything. They don't know. So, they are not even registering, all hide and seek. Why? How can you progress?
And that makes the industry further more informal.
Yes.
Understood. We are going to come back to more details on that, Nayana. Well, what about Nayana's story in her journey to be a legend in the beauty care industry of Sri Lanka? That's what we are going to be catching up upon after this short break. This is Bisnomics. Welcome back to Bisnomics, your weekend's most profitable 60 minutes. Our focus is on the salon and beauty care industry, an industry worth more than $145 billion worldwide, and we are discussing the impact of COVID-19 on this sector in Sri Lanka and what policy decisions are needed in order to get this industry in the right direction. And we are in conversation with Nayana Karunarathne. Nayana, we spoke about the industry. We spoke about the local global scenarios. Now it's time to talk about you. Behind this smile that you have when you talk about the industry, I'm quite sure is a journey filled with blood, sweat, and a lot of days where things might not have always gone your way, but you kept on fighting to be the person you are in this industry and to have built, I would say, something close to an empire in this industry. Let's talk about your journey, Nayana. Many people have heard it. I believe they always say it's very inspiring. I want to hear it, and the guests want to, and the fans or the viewers want to hear it as well. Bring it out.
Okay. I think I've just been very fortunate to have been born to an intelligent mother. You know, my mother, I just like to tell you that my mother, when I was much older, had her first heart attack. When she had her first heart attack, I didn't know. She went to sleep, and then I woke her up. She said, I have a chest pain. Take me to the hospital at 5. So, took her. And of course, she lived 17 years after that. But later she said that day, her heart was paining so badly, she thought she was going to die. So, she closed her eyes to die. And she thought, okay, when Nayana comes, I'll be dead and gone. And she made a wish that may I be born to intelligent parents. That was her only wish, her dying wish. Of course, she didn't die. She felt the pain going off and she lived. I think that is very, very true. So, fortunately, my mother was an intelligent woman. I don't know when, but I think I must have been about 14 years old, I think, that I took a liking to hairdressing. Definitely by the time I was 15, I was very sure. And we met Janet at a wedding, and my mother discussed openly about it, and then I took my own ideas to my head. After O-levels, O-levels exam, which was 2 months after my 15th birthday, I said, I'm not going to school. Of course, she hit me, she slapped me when I got into the car, but I said, I can't go back to school now, very sorry, I want to do hairdressing. So, it took her a lot of time to think about it, but she said, okay, but she gave me some very good advice. She said, okay, you select hairdressing, but I want you to be world class qualified so that you are employable anywhere in the world. So, that was the advice she gave.
Very good advice.
Yeah. So, from there onwards, I had a free hand. Now, you talked about the difficulties in coming up in this profession. Okay, I must say the strengths that I have had, which when it developed, I don't know, but I think it has definitely something to do with the family background. We are very basic middle class people, and the values, honesty, integrity and hard work, and I have a great self-discipline within myself. But days have been hard, but the question everybody is asking me is, what were your hurdles? Actually, Tarindu, when I think of it, I can't think of a single point that this was very bad. Every day is a problem. Now COVID is a problem. Now I don't know how to pay the salaries end of the month because we are closed for 1.5 months, 2 months. So it's a problem. But the thing is, whether you have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, you have to have 5 brides, you have to have this, that, you have to go for World Federation work, you have exams, competition. They don't matter because I absolutely love my job. I absolutely love my job. There were many times the night that I wanted, oh please, this bride, can you please take your money back? I want to sleep tomorrow. But then you have to get up at 3:30 in the morning, and it's very hard to wake up and push yourself under the shower. And then it's hard to get the car out of the garage also. And then you go to the bride's house at 3:30 or 4 in the morning. And at once, suddenly you realize, it's 8 o'clock. I don't realize the time passing. I bless my mother every time, because this is something I really like to tell the parents. You have to let your child select a profession they like, because then the profession doesn't become a job, it becomes a passion. It becomes a passion and you enjoy it. So I have had every similar problems that everyone has regarding business, family, personal matters, but it has all been possible to face because you get up in the morning with the love for the job. I think that's the secret of my success, I would say. Of course, the ups and downs have come. I also, I have always realized that education was very important, especially in our industry. So we have to be regularly updated. I would say at least, if not once a year, at least once in 2 years, you need to be updated. And at
the
our
trends and the patterns,
everything, at our level now, we don't need to go for classes, but you need to go for you need to see things.
Correct.
And I am
industry
also
forums, etc.
and I am also extremely fortunate to be in the World Federation of Hairdressers. I am a director, the board. Thank you. And the thing is, you are hobnobbing with the world's best from 77 countries. It's unbelievable, the world's best, and the dedication, the influence, the dedication, the discipline, and the success. Some of them are super rich. If you take the Japanese Association, Korean Association, they have Korea has 170,000 salons as members.
No wonder they had a hit song, Gangnam Style.
Now, how many votes are we talking? How many 170,000 salons.
Wow.
Then how many staff? How many votes? What influence do you have with the Prime Minister of Korea? So the country is thriving. So is Japan. So they are even the associations are very organized, they get a lot of support, there is a lot of discipline, so it's really very good to develop. Because our industry also has another small issue, Tarindu, you don't have to be having degrees or something. Some people argue with me on this, but I know of lots of hairdressers who have not been able to get the O-levels pass
but they are skilled.
But they are skilled and they are dedicated. So these people need that other education of the ethics and the discipline, management. They have to be taught that.
What about cultivating the right values in them?
Values. Then they can sustain. That is why, because with the talent they shoot up and they crash down.
Correct. And what has your experience been taking now? Your salon chain brand, you've taken it to India, you're taking it to Pakistan.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Were those markets ready for a Sri Lankan beauty care brand?
They are more than ready. They are aware of our standards. They are very proud of us.
And you also had a lot of people who think a country like Pakistan would not be really investing on that, but that's wrong to think so.
Very wrong to think so, because they are, in fact, at the moment, the present government is really looking at the possibility of developing the girls and this is not only for the girls, but in this India, but developing the girls, and also self-employment, so that you can still be a housewife and a mother, and also do 2-3 hours of work and earn some money. So they
More
are
economic
definitely
inclusion as well.
more they are supporting that. But India, definitely they have a lot of respect for us, and I think it also depends on us, Tarindu, the discipline we give in. I have been invited, and I am now a board member of the Beauty and Wellness Skills Council sector of India. I am very proud of that. They have invited me, and so I really like that position because I can contribute to education. So when you conduct yourself properly, and when you offer something sincere and genuine, people really take you.
What about the impact of technology in the social media, so the internet? What are these technologies having as an impact on the salon and beauty care industry?
Personally, I was scared. Personally, because I am too old to understand these technologies. It's beyond my generation. But slowly but surely, it is dawning on me that it is very important. We can go a long way with this. It's come to stay, you know. The technology has come to stay.
And let me ask this. I've heard a lot of stylists saying, those days a bride might come and get everything done from the salon. But now some brides will apparently say, look, do these parts, but some of the other makeup aspects, I watch this YouTube video, I can do it based on that. So there are different angles coming into this as well, isn't it?
I think it is happening. Now, what about the food? What about the food? How many people are making food at home and all that? But won't you and I, the moment COVID is over, won't we go and sit down and have a nice meal? I mean, how many deliveries are you getting home? But nothing like going to a coffee shop and sitting and having that super cappuccino. Huh?
Yes.
So I mean that it's not the food, no, it's not the coffee, it's the experience. So that will happen, and yes, people I personally think it is not going to affect us, because the bride who comes will come. She will still be. She will pay us for what we do for her. That is not the issue. The thing is, lots of people in the past few years, I don't know what they used to. Made a big issue out of, made undue business out of a situation. You know, they killed a bride, they killed a wedding. That is not necessary. That is not necessary. I mean, for us, whether you have 100 people for a wedding or 10 people for a wedding, you still come and we still cut your hair and you are still the bridegroom for us. So we have not lost income. You will come for your facial, you will come for your haircut. So we have not lost the income. If we are professionals, we will do well. Correct. So professionalism must come to the industry. Understood. So if that is there, then we have no problems.
So it's about being professional and at the same time adopting the technology in the way it works.
My salons are over 40. I started I'm a hairdresser for more than 50 years. My salons are 41 years now. So they are still running.
Correct. And hence why we call you a legend and we introduce you as one. Now, on a final note, for anyone who is watching this show, could be a boy or a girl who is planning to start his or her own salon chain, who has that dream to build his or her own beauty care and salon brand, what is your advice to them? The young generation.
My first advice is for the parents. Because the young generation, the young man or the woman is very aware of what he or she wants. The problem comes with the parents, because the parents do not have a due recognition for this industry. But my request is for them to let the children come into the industry and also understand that most of you people want your children to go to the universities and private universities all over. So they pay a few lakhs or millions, whatever it is. It's the same thing with us. Go in for a very good education, give the child the super foundation education, which will again come to a lakh or two, definitely. And that is a permanent investment. That will take you a year or maybe year and a half, and that will be a permanent investment for the child. And then, of course, not only that's what I'm asking the parents to do. Anything else additional is also super. Marketing, computers, all that will enhance our industry, enhance the ability of a hairdresser or a beautician. Then for the children who want to enter the industry, what I would say is, it looks beautiful, It looks glam, but it's hard work. You see models walking on the ramp, but we are really suffering, and 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the night we are working. So it's hard work. So, but you need to have honesty, integrity, hard work and commitment. If you have that, you will always be successful.
Thank you very much for sharing those thoughts with us, Nayana, and thank you for spending your valuable time, and we do hope that you and the rest of the industry will soon get a chance to open the doors and give that feel-good factor to all the customers.
I hope so too.
Wishing you good luck.
Thank you very much.
And with that, we wrap up today's episode of Bisnomics. No matter what business, industry or organization you may be in, make sure that you get your look right, your presentability right, because like we said at the start, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. I'll see you with the next episode. Have a profitable week ahead.